Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq-100 index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed right here on the Nasdaq stock market. The NDX has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world. Joining me this Thursday afternoon is Joyce, Managing Director on Nasdaq Market Intelligence Desk, for an update on technical levels to watch in the Nasdaq-100. Brian, it seems like we're kind of like in a little bit of a holding pattern here across the board.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was just thinking in my head. We are in a holding pattern for the NASDAQ, at least. The broader market, the small caps and mid caps, they've been outperforming the last quarter or so. That trend is continuing here into the new year. There are certain pockets within the tech space, especially, that are doing well, but other areas that are kind of holding back. It depends what your time frame is, what your investment horizon is, and overall, the longer-term trends, the intermediate long-term trends, are still certainly intact. But on a short-term basis, we are seeing some rotation, from large cap into small cap. That theme is continuing, and within the technology space, we've been seeing some new leadership over the last couple of months or so, and that is continuing so far into 2021.
All right, and it looks like you have a chart up here for us with the Nasdaq-100, some fresh levels to watch.
Right, correct. So this is the Nasdaq daily period chart. Last week when we spoke on Thursday, this is where we were right here. On Friday, we did spike higher. This was our all-time high 4 trading sessions ago, and we have since been pulling back. So very minor pullback. We're within 1 or 2% of all-time highs. So we still look good here. On a weekly time frame, if flip over here, this is last week's candlestick. Nothing alarming here at all. If you were looking to take a shot on the short side, this could be a risk level to enter against. This is what we'd call a hanging man candlestick. Typically, despite the fact that we closed near the high of the range, this big move lower during the week, and then we close back above, denotes a little bit of uncertainty, particularly when you see at the end of a nice uptrend like this. This week's candlestick, we have a Haramai pattern where the high low of the range is within the prior week's open close range. That's the body of the candlestick. And so that, again, not necessarily bearish, but things to keep an eye on, to look out for. As I was mentioned before, there's different areas of the tech space doing well this year. The top group is the semiconductors. This is a daily period chart of the semiconductor index over the last now 12 months, and you can see today it's continuing to make new highs. However, software made its high back in September, on September 2nd, and has since been consolidating sideways. Today it's dipping below its 50-day moving average, very small amount. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that and see how that continues to progress. And then if we look at the S&P 500 hardware index, hardware technology, this actually looks very constructive to me. We have, a high initially made back on September 2nd, like the services index, but this has returned to those highs, made a brief breakout, a minor pullback, and this is what we call the retest, and then potential for a move to the upside here. So if we see some further rotation going on underneath the hood of the surface, let's say for technology, maybe we'll see a move out of the semis, which has an RSI of about 86, 82, I should say, which is very extreme. We haven't seen that since November of 2017. And back then, when we hit that level, the index did continue to go higher for 3 or 4 more months. But on a relative basis, maybe the hardware group is due to take off here, break out, and begin to outperform. So just lots of things to keep an eye on within this group.
Yeah, stocks certainly getting a little bit of juice from the electric vehicle story, that's for sure. Brian, great to see you as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.